Haiti Part 2, so you should have your notebook, a pen or a pencil, and you should be open to study guide for Part 2. Some important questions to keep in mind right here. What did the various groups want? What was their main goal? So remember, we talked about different groups. So pay attention to what they're fighting for, what they want. How would events in France affect the people living in Saint Dominique? And how would what was happening on Saint Dominique affect France? So those are just things to kind of highlight and think about as we're reading. But the first question is, what revolution began in 1989? So over here in 1989, a revolution broke out. But this revolution was not in Saint Dominique, it was in France. Eventually, the French Revolution would result in the overthrow of the French king and the establishment of a republic government in France. So first, to answer the question, this revolution that broke out is called the French Revolution. So you are going to put right here, French Revolution. The next thing we're looking for is 3 effects of this 1989 revolution on Saint Dominique. And what I just read here was that they said, see you later, king. We don't want to have a king. We all want to have a say in the government, just like we do in the U.S. with voting and things like that, because before that, it was the king's decision for everything. So that was the French Revolution. And remember, France owns the colony in Saint Dominique, which is now Haiti. Okay, so I'm going to skip down to here, because this is a vocab word right here. It's talking about the rights of individual and political participation. So remember, we said political participation is like voting and being involved in the government. And right down here we see the word lobby. And what was happening in France, there was a small group that thought that slavery should not be in place. So in 1788, they started to write pamphlets to give out to people, to inform them about why slavery should be abolished. And they started to lobby the French government. So they started to really try to push the government to make a change. So this is a quote that talks about slavery, and it's kind of against it. It's saying, oh, you know, even though slavery is pretty bad, it would be even worse if we lost all that money. So it says right here, the colonial regime is oppressive. So it's oppressive to these slaves, but it gives a livelihood, which means it brings in money to several million Frenchmen. This regime of slavery is barbarous, meaning it's just, it's not even human, really. But a still greater non-human behavior would result if we interfered and got rid of slavery, because we wouldn't have the money. But the other group kept pushing and saying, no, it's not worth it, we shouldn't have slavery. Okay, so here is how the events in France affected Saint Dominique. So we're going to look at the 3 effects. So basically, it was 3 different divisions or different groups getting upset with each other. So the first one was a new division among the white population. Okay, so these are the groups of people living in Saint Dominique, and they're the white population, and some of them said, you know what? France is going through a big thing right now. They just got rid of the king. Let's just start our own country here. Let's just cut all our ties with France. I don't want them to be our boss anymore. Let's just have our own government here, and we won't even deal with them. They're far away. We don't need them. It's almost the same thing that the U.S. did with Britain. So that's what one group wanted. The other group said, no, 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 let's be loyal to the king. Let's be loyal to the government over there. Let's let them still lead. So they started to have arguments, and there was a division. So over here, three effects, you would say the division between, and you would talk about two groups of whites, one being one that wanted to be loyal to the king, and the other group that wanted to like cut their ties and start their own government in their own country, a brand new country in Haiti with no ties to France. And then the second one for B was another division, and this was with the affranchis. So the affranchis felt that the new French government would award them equal rights to the whites. They were frustrated. Remember, they started taking away the affranchis' rights with that black code.